On the channel lately, we've been doing tier lists on some pretty popular things. We have got Star Wars, Batman, Disney princesses, and today I want to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about the characters that were found in McDonald's own little universe that they created, Mcdonaldland. All these characters featured in either live action commercials, an animated series, video games, but they're all connected by this place that McDonald's created to advertise their products. We're going to be ranking them on a couple different things. One, are they effective as like a mascot? That's going to be part of it. Two, how uncomfortable do they make us feel? And then three, is it morally wrong that they exist? And as we're getting started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of content, or, we do a lot of streaming on the channel. We do some video essays, whatever it might be. Go ahead and hang out with us by clicking that subscribe button. We'd love to have you. So first up, we've got Ronald McDonald himself. And so Ronald McDonald was created back in 1963. He was by himself when he showed up at first, and he's been played by a number of different actors. He's looked different ways, but he really kind of settled into this look. The look that was what I grew up with, and everybody, from the 70s until the mid-2000s grew up with. They're in the mid-70s. They don't use him anymore. They don't use Ronald McDonald anymore because of the, all of the clown stuff that was going on back in like 2016 around there. It's kind of hard to advertise to children when in the news you're seeing stuff about killer clowns all the time. But if I'm going to be honest, I look at Ronald McDonald, and as far as clowns go, I don't think he's creepy. I think that they do a good job of his character coming across as essentially the everyman of this. He's definitely got main character energy, especially when you're going to see who he's up against in that department. He's friendly, right? The colors work well. I think it's good that there's not too many different colors on him. But, yeah, he seems like a nice dude. If I could have my birthday at McDonald's and he could show up, I wouldn't chase him away. So let's go ahead and get Ronald at... put him at A tier. I think that he's really good, but he doesn't have like that wow factor that pushes him over the edge for me. All right, so that's him. Let's move to the next one on the list, which is Mayor McCheese. So Mayor McCheese, we're going to kind of be going through these in the order that they came out. That's what we're looking at, or roundabouts. Some of them I had a hard time finding like a concrete date of when they showed up. It's almost like back then they didn't think you needed to pay attention to that kind of stuff, but nowadays we just document everything. Who thought back in 1970 that we needed to know when Mayor McCheese was created, so that way we could have accurate information on an encyclopedia specifically tailored to the fictional characters that McDonald's created to sell their food. But that's where I found all this stuff. I mean, I love a good rabbit hole to fall down on the internet, and this was a real kind of fun one. So Mayor McCheese, it's in his name. He's the mayor of McDonaldland, and he is like a cheeseburger. So like these big-headed guys are inspired from a TV show from back in the day called HR Puffin Stuff, and so that's way before my time. He's friendly, unless people are blatantly bad guys, everyone is friendly. But it's kind of like concerning. I feel like he's a good representation of the people who live in McDonaldland. There are a lot of hamburgers. Do I think he does a good job representing them? That is the real question. And to that, I don't think we're gonna find out some things that happen in McDonaldland that if I was a hamburger, I would be wondering why it is these atrocities are still happening. I'm going to say Mayor McCheese, he's going to be, oh gosh. I mean, I do like his design. He's kind of fun like that. Let's put Mayor McCheese at, we'll go C tier. His glasses bring me down a little bit. I kind of don't like those wireframes. All right. Not to say that you can't look good in wireframes. I'm sure you pull them off, but if your face is a giant cheeseburger, then it's a little harder to, I think. Next up is Officer Big Mac. Officer Big Mac is, again, in his name, a Big Mac and an officer, a police officer. I'm looking at him, and his head is even bigger than Mayor McCheese's because he's got the extra patty and he's got that extra bun. I feel like it's going to be hard for him to chase anybody. And we do know that unlike a lot of fictional police officers, he actually does have things to do. Not created, but his existence is ultimately to be chasing the Hamburglar. Like, I don't know. I before looking into this too much, always just kind of thought of Ronald McDonald and the Hamburglar being arch nemesis, or like, at each other. But really, it's like Ronald's just some dude. He just lives there. It is Officer Big Mac's job to catch the Hamburglar. And so, he does a good job from time to time. Oh, not just the Hamburglar, even. There are other criminals afoot. He does a pretty good job a lot of the time. He's got a friendly demeanor. Though he does have like a billy club, which, of course, given the kinds of instruments of punishment that are available to police officers, it's on the lower end. I think I'll put him at B. I like his eyebrows. And he's got a cool uniform. I look at him and I'm like, that could be a fun Halloween costume. That could, you need to pare the head down a little bit. But I think he actually is a civil servant who is out there doing, good work, right? So let's go ahead and put him right there. All right, so now we're going to get to the first of many things that make me feel uncomfortable about McDonaldland. And we're going to be talking about what they call the Hamburger Patch. Now, if we look at these guys, they all have eyes. They talk in the ads, which you're like, oh, that's fine. Like Mayor McCheese and Officer Big Mac, they're both burgers too that are alive. But these guys, they are shown talking, like, and I don't know, singing, carrying on their lives. But at the same time, they're plucked out of the Hamburger Patch and eaten. Like they are consumed. I want to read you exactly the way the Wikipedia article or the wiki article puts it. Even though hamburgers in McDonaldland were anthropomorphized and spoke, they were picked by characters such as Ronald McDonald and the Hamburglar for consumption. That's just wrong. It's just messed up. Like remember when I was saying Ronald McDonald was a good dude? Like, this is already casting doubts on that. Like here in the real world, sure, he's friendly enough, but he is heartless when it comes to the people in McDonaldland. And then it also makes you have to stop and think, hey, Mayor McCheese, why aren't you doing something about these hamburgers getting eaten? But he does not seem to care. And it's just messed up. I do like their design, though, because they remind me of Bug Snacks, which is a fun game you should try out if you haven't had a chance to play it yet. Because of how they make me feel uncomfortable, I'm going to put them down in D tier. I don't want to feel bad when I'm eating a hamburger, like especially a magic one. Like if I'm eating a real hamburger, there's already enough things I have to worry about with ethical treatment of animals and all of that stuff. But then they're like, no, but just the hamburger itself is alive and it will talk to you. Because even like right in real life, the cow won't talk to me. That's not something I have to worry about. But in the magical land of McDonald's, it's something you got to worry about. So yeah, not a fan of them. Next up, we got Grimace. Grimace actually, I think, is interesting because, like, I didn't really know this, but he's essentially the Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z of the McDonald's universe. In that when he first showed up, he was a bad guy. I didn't know that. Not only was he a bad guy, but he was like more powerful than he is now, right? He used to have 4 arms and was known for stealing people's shakes and their soda pops. But then they're like, this Grimace guy, he seems cool, so let's make him a good guy, just like Vegeta. And then they nerfed his power level, took away some of his arms, and we just got this 2-armed guy. And so I like that we don't know what Grimace is. Everything I read about him is just like a purple fuzzy creature. And I just appreciate that. They're not like, he's not food. He steals food. But now he doesn't. And he's friends with Ronald McDonald. I like Grimace. I think he's cool. Grimace is going to be S tier. And so if Grimace is the Vegeta of Mcdonaldland, then I think that we can call the Hamburglar like the Frieza. He is just evil all the time. He can come back time and time again. He's a bad dude. He's always trying to steal hamburgers, which we've established are sentient beings. And though I don't know if we can really argue that what he's doing to them is worse than what Ronald McDonald wants to do to them, I don't know. Like, if we didn't know for a fact that he was also eating them, I would almost wonder if he was trying to save them from the fate that he knows that they are destined for. Hamburglar's got a cool look. He's got a cape, his hat, and his mask. I don't know if he's supposed to be a child. He almost looks like a kid. I do not like when they did this redesign in like the 2000s. Like, I don't know what to call him, by like sexy Hamburglar. It's going to be a pass from me. Like, I don't see him fighting Ronald McDonald. To be fair, I guess we don't really see this guy fighting Ronald McDonald either. The name itself, Hamburglar, is very good. There's no arguing that, right? It is a good name. Whoever came up with that definitely deserves whatever they got paid, and probably more, because I'm willing to bet it wasn't very much. Hamburglar is going to be another A tier for me. I'm going to put him behind Ronald McDonald. Like, these guys, you know why they're sticking around, right? They're still on things. You don't really see these two anymore. You don't see the burger guys anymore. Why? Because they're weird looking, probably. But, yeah. The next up on the list we have is Captain Crook, which is like Captain Hook. But he is essentially the water version of the Hamburglar. He steals fillet of fish. And in my opinion, he can have them. He can have every one of them. And every fillet of fish that this guy is taking is one that I don't have to eat. Like, I would almost consider him like the hero of this entire intellectual property. Captain Crook gets a thumbs up from me. And as you can tell, based on this picture, he's not a guy that shows up very often anymore. He's a 1971 guy. Oh, I forgot to mention that. 1971 on everybody pretty much except for Ronald McDonald. That's when they really kind of did their first big push into Mcdonaldland. But he's also just kind of obviously a ripoff of Captain Hook, right? Go off of the name. Smart move, but definitely obvious in where you're drawing your inspiration. I like that he has a sword, and I like his parrot. I did not see anything about what his parrot's name is, and so I do apologize if Captain Crook's parrot is somebody's favorite Mcdonaldland character. I don't know who he is. Let's put this guy. I'm gonna go C tier. C tier on this one. Below Mayor McCheese even. He's nothing. He's not memorable. I mean, I know I was just singing his praises 2 seconds ago, but I flipped on him that quick because he's just got nothing. Why not just make him a real person? Because they weren't above using real people like they do for our next guy, the professor, who, I don't know, he looks cool. He's an inventor who is always making up different things, and he's so smart that eventually he creates sentient life. Eventually there are some chicken nuggets that we will talk about that come to life, and he is the one who created them. And that's pretty impressive. I don't know how practical it is to have a hat that has a light bulb on the top of it, but that's something that he does too. Again, wire-framed glasses seem to be the only type of eyewear that these people are using. I think he's got, a fun look and everything, but the fact that he's just inventing sentient life is troubling. Like, we look at Frankenstein, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and we say, he's the monster, right? This guy, is he a monster? Don't take your eyes off this guy, because there's a chance that he might, like, turn you into some kind of, like, living, breathing turducken. So, let's go. I'll put him above those guys, but he's definitely C tier. Next, we have the Fry Guys, which went through a bunch of different names. First they were called the Gobblins, so like your gobbling down French fries, right? They were called the Fry Kids also, and I guess they're supposed to look like French fries, or maybe they eat French fries. I don't know. They have a good look, but they leave me asking a lot of questions. Like, what are you? I'm going to put them in D tier. I don't want to be asking those kind of questions when I'm supposed to be thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner. What are you is not a reassuring question. The next thing we have on the list are talking trash cans. I guess it makes sense to have trash cans in McDonaldland. Kind of. I mean, everything is alive. So even if we're eating the hamburger, they're not in paper. But I mean, it's good to have trash cans around. I don't know how I feel about them being alive, though. It's like, if you're a talking trash can, you know what your life is when you're born into it. There's no like saying, no, I don't want people to put trash in my mouth. It's like, no, you better get used to that, because that's what's going to happen. Like in media in general, like if you are a talking trash can, you pick up trash, or people deposit trash into your mouth. That would be an interesting fictional character, right? A cartoon movie about a trash can who's alive, who just doesn't do that. Every time somebody shows up with trash, he's like, no, I don't do that. That might be fun. Or it could be horrible. So, yeah, these guys, they got bow ties. I don't know. They're kind of all about ties. People have a lot of neckerchief or like apparel. I'm putting them in F. It's a food commercial. I don't want to think about the garbage. Now, though, we get Uncle Grimace. And so he is advertising the Shamrock Shake, and which is something I don't like. You got a couple days left to go get a Shamrock Shake if you want. Because they're around in March. But I'm not really into those. Not a minty kind of guy. As you might have guessed, they don't really use this character anymore either. Go figure. They don't want to just use one that is a stereotype of like an entire nation. Though I guess Lucky Charms still does, so I don't know. Maybe they don't have to be so afraid. But I do like Uncle Grimace in that he is a worse version of Grimace. Yeah, the green just doesn't translate as well as the purple does, at least in my opinion. And he looks way shaggier. Like I like how like a kind of velvety Grimace is even. So, but I mean, technically the only kind of family that we're seeing represented here, right? This lets us know that there is, because he goes away and then he comes back each March to remind us about the Shamrock Shake. So that does bring to mind that there are other places outside of McDonaldland, which could make us more excited about learning what's out in the world, right? He's B tier. So now we are at what they call the Happy Meal Gang. And so this is all the things that are in Happy Meals included in what they call a gang. But it's like not a gang. It's a, it's a group of kids. Though, if it was a gang, it would be more things for Officer Big Mac to deal with. But I think he's got his hands full with the Hamburglar already. All right, so they showed up in 1979, which is 4 years after Uncle Grimace, just so you know. So the first up in the Happy Meal gang is hamburger. And so we've had hamburgers already on the list a few times. This guy, he's got a fun little bow tie. Again, ties showing up all the time. I don't know, guys. I'm just starting to feel bad for all of these little hamburgers. Just look at how innocent he is. Like, he doesn't know. Like, I feel like they've put clothes on this one, so we're supposed to believe that he's safe, that they're not going to eat him. But I feel like you just leave him alone with any of the non-hamburger characters, then he could just be devoured. There's too many questions. It's ultimately, so big picture, I like the Mcdonaldland stuff. I think it's fun, but it just raises too many questions, right? You build out your character list too much, and then all of a sudden you have to answer questions like, well, why isn't Ronald McDonald eating these cheeseburgers, but he is eating these ones? They need to completely reboot it, is what it is. A hard reboot, like a DC New 52 situation. That's what they need to do with the Mcdonaldland. Hamburger, though, he's a non-entity. He can go C tier. French fries. There have been different French fries. There's been boy French fries. There's been girl French fries. They're switching it up to get some more diversity in there. Another bow. This one is in her hair, or essentially her hair. It's almost actually the French fry container is the what is alive, right? That's where the eyes are and everything. I don't like that she has a nose. I think that she would be better off without the nose. She's going to go below the hamburger. I do like the soda. I think that he's cool looking. I like that he's got a straw. I like the inside of his mouth being like a different color. All of these puppets are fun, like for sure. He'll also be C tier, but I'm going to put him above Captain Crook. Now, the biggest nostalgia trip I had while looking into any of these things is the recollection that cookies used to be a big thing in Happy Meals. And I just had completely forgot that was a thing. I've ordered 1 million Happy Meals since I've had kids. Like way more Happy Meals than I ever ate as a kid. And they don't have them anymore. And I saw the picture of the bag and I was instantly like, oh, I remember all of it. And so that was kind of fun. He was in the Happy Meal gang as well. Eventually he gets kicked out of the gang, or he's not in the gang anymore. So we can assume one of two things, or one of three things. One, he's reformed and he's no longer in the gang. Two, he's been arrested by Officer Big Mac. And, normally, like, that might be the worst thing we would assume. But there's also number three, he was eaten. And looking at all of these people here, it would not surprise me if that is the fate that befell him. I don't really like his design. The weird, like, white is it supposed to be teeth? It's freaking me out. I'm going to put him at D tier. Though I do remember the cookies being good as a kid. I'm sure as an adult they would be disappointing. All right. Let's look at the next person on our list is Birdie. Birdie the early bird, which is a character who was created and originally shown in 1980, who was supposed to, just be like, hey, McDonald's does breakfast. And so, like, I don't know, because looks like a chicken, we're being reminded of the eggs, because there's no bird on the menu. I know she's an early bird. Like, the early bird gets the worm. The early bird gets the McDonald's sandwich. Except for now, you can get those whenever you want. Or at least you could before the pandemic. I'm not sure what McDonald's menu does now. I feel like it changes all the time. I feel like even though she's a lot later, like introduced a lot later than like Grimace and Ronald and the Hamburglar, she's up there character wise. I think the more we stay away from characters actually being food, the better. And yeah, so I'm gonna put her up in A tier too. She's gonna go below Hamburglar though. And that brings us to those sentient chicken nuggets that the professor created, the McNugget buddies. So the McNugget buddies were a part of the Happy Meal gang also, eventually, after they were introduced. They showed up in 1985, really pushing those chicken nuggets. And I'll tell you what, I do want to eat some chicken nuggets. Like, I might go get some chicken nuggets after this because they look good. I feel like out of all of them, those look the most like the kind of food that they're supposed to be. I guess outside of the French fries, because it looked like it was just real French fries inside of the puppet. Again, I don't want to. I can feel bad enough thinking about real chicken nuggets, right? Because thinking about how real chickens are treated and killed and all of that stuff. Try to put that out of my head. But now I got to be like, but then also once they're prepared, now they're alive too. So like, thanks a lot, Professor. Like once they're in a boot shape, I should be able to just not worry about it. Cause like, that's not what a chicken looks like, but it sure tastes good. But now I have to be like, but this chicken nugget is somebody's child. This chicken nugget has a home. And should I be okay with eating it? Whether or not I should, I am. And I do. They're really cute. I'm going to put them in B tier. Top of B tier. Let's see. So this guy is called CosMc. And he's weird. He showed up in a video game. And he was in a bunch of different commercials. And he's just a weird alien. And I don't like him. I think that as far as alien designs go, he's pretty boring. Let me get that picture up there for you. He's pretty boring. And he has too many arms. His feet are strangely proportioned. Like, look how tall his feet are. Ugh. I just don't like him. I'm going to put him in F tier. You can try to stop me if you want, but you can't. So, F tier. All right, the Man in the Moon is another McDonald's character. And another character that I don't really like very much. He had a couple different designs, and none of them were good or fun looking. This character should not be confused with Mac Tonight, who we will look at the end, but is not a Mcdonaldland character. Something we need to establish. Not Mcdonaldland. He never interacted with that magical place. Man in the Moon did, though. I don't know. Put him in D tier. So now we're going to get to some kind of obscure ones. Ones that showed up in just like a couple commercials. This thing is called Bernice, and it is known for eating everything, not just food, but like it eats a movie script, it eats a bunch of different things and a number of different ads, and that should be terrifying, right? Like you already have natural predators if you live in McDonaldland, like the Hamburglar, Ronald McDonald, but now there's this thing that will eat anything. Like a soda cup could before feel like I'm safe because I'm not going to get eaten. But then Bernice shows up and nobody's safe anymore. I don't particularly like Bernice. And also the fact that Bernice is not like anything recognizable. Like what is she supposed to be? Like she kind of looks like an anteater. I don't know. It's, again, raising just too many questions. Let's put her in F tier too. I'm also going to put our next one in F tier. This is Mike the Microphone. And Mike the Microphone was never featured in an actual ad or anything. It was only a character on a couple of cassette tapes that you could get in Happy Meals or at McDonald's, and he is nothing to me. And also, you're going to have a microphone that's alive and just name it Mike. We've seen it a million times. We're getting lazy at this point, McDonald's. Lazy, and I am disappointed. It's an F tier. It's the lowest for me. But now we are to something that is truly disturbing. During the late 90s, early 2000s, they created a cartoon for McDonald's. You might not have ever seen it because it wasn't on TV. You had to buy the cassette tapes at McDonald's restaurants. And in those videos, Ronald had a dog named Sundae. And in similar fashion to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, there would be live action parts of these shows and animated parts of these shows. And then Sundae also showed up in some ads. And the design of the live action, the cartoon one is fine. It's whatever. But the live action Sundae is disturbing. Like, just look. Why does this dog have people teeth? I don't like it. It's like, I don't want to throw this term around too much, but this is nightmare fuel. This thing was played by Vern Troyer in the suit. That's right. Mini-Me has ties to the McDonaldland universe. It's just not good. And it has people eyes too. It's the mixture of people teeth and people eyes make me people uncomfortable. And so it's got to be the lowest. Just, ugh. Yeah, sorry, Sundae. Like, I wish you didn't have to do that to you. McDonald's just ended up getting kind of lazy with all this stuff. Some good stuff early on. But once you're just doing this kind of stuff, I'm not going to endorse it. I can't support you in that. This guy is called Iam Hungry. Iam Hungry. Again, he was featured in a video game and in a couple different ads. And he would only ever, after his first couple times being in ads and everything, he would only ever say, "I'm hungry." He looks like the honeycomb thing from the same time period. It's just, they're like, let's just make him green. And again, another thing that's just hungry and wants to eat. I don't think maybe it's not that McDonald's itself discontinued this ad campaign. It's that, like, all of the characters were just eaten. They're all gone. Like, the Hamburger Patch doesn't exist anymore because there's just too many characters that just want to eat everything. And so they did. They just ate it all, and it's all gone. Maybe they wish they could bring it back, but it's just been devoured. This is another F tier. Like, everything else is so bad. I'm moving the trash cans up. The trash cans can be in D tier now, because at least they are on brand, right? Like, it's, you know why they're there. Why these F tier guys? Why are they there? It's just to make me uncomfortable. Another thing, I like this one. It's just called a Vulture, and it's a bird. And that's it. That's all we have. They're like, it's a bird that was featured in a few ads. Cool. I guess F tier. Another F tier. This is the most interesting one to me. This is Griddler. And no images of Griddler wherever, like, are available online. People say that Griddler showed up in some ads back in the early 2000s, but we don't have any of them recorded, which makes me wonder if it's actually real, because, like, we have ads from 1970 and 1963, but we don't have any proof of the Griddler. I love the name. He's like the the McGriddles. Like supposedly his head is a McGriddle and everything. But the only real documented proof that we have of him existing is from this Instagram post where it's Ronald McDonald's, like the official account. And it is like, so I don't know. I don't remember how long ago it was that this was a thing where they had like different, like it's in a lunchroom, right? And every table has different groups of characters and like, who do you choose to sit by? But this is a house or an apartment building and it has different rooms. It's like, which room do you want to be in? If you look at room 3, you got Hamburglar, the McNugget buddies, Griddler, and Mac Tonight. And obviously that's the room you want to go to. That's where all the cool guys are. Plus, Griddler. It's like, who is that? What a man of mystery. I'm in love with the idea of Griddler. Maybe it's because, you know, he isn't here to be awful. Like maybe I would be in love with the idea of a dog named Sundae if it didn't exist. But it does exist, and I can see how horrible it is. But I love the idea of Griddler. I stan Griddler. And because of that, the concept of Griddler, because that's essentially what I can rate, is going to be up in B tier. You might say that's not fair. And I would say, does it really matter? Next up, we have 2 more additions to the Happy Meal gang. This is Happy Meal Box. And he's the box. It's a weird addition, like, to see him. And I think that there's something sinister about this guy that we will touch on in just a minute. But size-wise, he doesn't work. The other things couldn't have fit inside of him. It feels like they were like, we just need to add another one. So I'm going to say this guy is down there. Let's go below Hamburger Patch even. And then the last actual McDonaldland character that we're going to be ranking today is the toy, the best part of the Happy Meal, right? Let's see. He's undoubtedly cute, right? You look at him, he's got a little antenna, he's got little wheels. He's got a fun little face. I'll put him at the bottom of C tier. So that is the McDonald'sland, right? That's who we're ranking. We have a couple things to hit on. I see the replacement because McDonald'sland went away. And then to replace it, McDonald's introduced Happy, which was the living Happy Meal box. But you'll remember, just to a few seconds ago, we already had a living Happy Meal box. Who is this guy? Is he related to Happy Meal box from the Happy Meal gang? Did he sell out the rest of the Happy Meal gang to be able to get, witness protection? Is that why he gets this position of power that he has now? We take all of that aside, all of our theories about who he is, where he came from, and we just look at him, and it's awful. It's, again, people teeth. I don't like it. Like, the Happy Meal's supposed to be in there. The food's supposed to be in there. Like, why does he's got a uvula. He's got the little hangy thing in the back of his throat. You can see it. Why? It's a no from me. I'm not going to rank him, but he's there, and he's not good. Also, want to hit on Mac Tonight, which is nostalgia probably makes me want to say he's really cool. But at the same time, kind of scary. He's supposed to be talking about how McDonald's has got late night stuff, right? That's not for kids, late night food. But he is a little, I don't know. He's a little creepy. He'd play the piano, he'd fly around on clouds and everything. But he's got a cool factor. Like, he's cool, but in a little bit of a, like, dangerous kind of way. It's like, oh, is Mac... that's why we want to go hang out with the Griddler, because the Griddler's friends with Mac tonight. You're like, Mac tonight's going to be at the party. Okay, well, maybe I'll show up. So that's Mac tonight. I don't think Mac tonight and Ronald McDonald would get along very well. That's just a thought. And then lastly, this is Speedee. And Speedee was McDonald's, the restaurant's first mascot. He just talked about how fast it was to get McDonald's food and how cheap it was. And you know what? It's worked out for McDonald's. It's so weird that we can have nostalgia for just this place where you can go get food because of these ads. Marketing is effective, and it creates nostalgia and brand awareness in ways that I don't even think we'll ever completely understand. One thing I do understand is that I want to go eat some chicken nuggets now. And so I think I'm going to go do that. Let me know when you think about McDonald's, what do you want to eat? Maybe you hate McDonald's, but maybe you learned something. If you have a favorite McDonald's character, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Take care.